My name is Alexa, and I'm the program director for Monday Night Marsh. Monday Night Marsh, for those who do not know, is the seed that allowed the Marsh Theater to sprout into the breeding ground for new performance that it is today. The first Monday Night Marsh was featured in 1989 at the Hotel Utah on Bryant Street. And we're so happy to have our performers here tonight, our audience members. Thank you guys for joining us. But before we get started, I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of different things going on in our world right now that are affecting us from so many different angles, especially these last few months and these last couple of weeks. These events are affecting all of us in very similar and very different ways. So the Marsh is a support system and such a great resource to utilize, whether as an audience member or as a performer. So I want to remind everyone that we are here for you and we are here to support your voices and experiences. If you or someone you know is interested in performing on Monday Night Marsh, Monday Night MarshStream, please visit our website, themarsh.org, where you'll find a link to the submission page, or you can email mondaynight@themarsh.org as well. So yeah, let's get started. So tonight we have a great lineup that will feature pieces from Helene Lara, Rochelle Lee Slota, and Nicole Victoria. And following the performances, there will be a Q&A with the performers as well, where you will be able to ask questions via Zoom's chat box tool. So let's get started. Starting off the night, we have Helene Lara with The Trip Home. Road trips can inspire nostalgia, fantasy, and, at the moment, longing for normalcy. Follow Helene's journey back home as she takes a jaunt down memory lane, plays Russian roulette with the gas tank, and encounters a detour into normal existence. Take it away, Helene.
Well, my story begins when it was actually only day 29 of the quarantine, and I had been staying with my younger sister and her 3 boys for some time, and I was now making my way back home. Okay. I've got the car loaded. It's a rental, Toyota Camry. That smell of Clorox cleaning wipes. At least I know the vehicle's clean. I'm still a little bit nervous about ordering food from restaurants, so I've packed enough food and water for the day's trip. And I've even mapped out my journey. From Los Angeles to San Francisco, it's about 9 hours all in. I'm going to take the coastal route. That includes bathroom breaks, rest stops, and also stopping for gas. The California coastline is just so incredible. I mean, the sun glistening off the ripples of water in the ocean's surface, and then lush green landscape. I have my windows down. I'm just taking in that cool, crisp ocean breeze, mixed every now and then with that scent of evergreen, that sweet, musty, earthy fragrance that's so specific to the central coast of California. My radio station is fading in and out, and they're playing some classic rock tunes like Aerosmith's Dream On and the Rolling Stones, Under My Thumb. You know, I once saw the Rolling Stones play. Oh, I'm still driving, by the way. The Rose Bowl. It was incredible. The audience was filled with people from every generation. It was the 90s, and hot pants, metallic fabrics, animal prints were all statement pieces. Me, I had my shiny silver leggings with my motorbike style leather jacket. Sleek bob, you know, like Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction. cat eye black eyeliner and matte red lipstick. And it was just incredible. Those fans from every generation, they were just going wild in the stadium. And the scent of marijuana came from all corners of the arena. And you know, the Stones, they play their classic stuff like Beast of Burden, Start Me Up, Satisfaction. It was pretty incredible. I even had one of those tongue logo t-shirts. I really thought it was cool. Only I was too embarrassed to wear it in public, so it became a pajama top. Yeah, that was really a great time. You know, today, isn't Mick Jagger married to some 20 or 30 something ballet dancer? You know, he's like in his 70s. He's incredible and he's still rocking it out. They're going on tour this year. Well, that was before now. That was before this, which takes me back to my story and my drive up the coast. The radio station fades back in. Yeah. Queen, Under Pressure. Freddie Mercury, another great tune. So I've been driving on the road for a while now, and I'm feeling a little tired. Gas is running low, and the GPS says the next gas station is 16 miles away. I'm doing the math. I think that's enough gas to get me there. Why do I always do this? Why do I always play Russian roulette with the gas tank? Well, you know, people say those gas gauges are never really accurate anyway. Yeah, whoever wants to test out that theory. Finally, the phone's navigation speaks. Proceed to the exit, then turn left. I follow the navigation to an off-brand gas station. Fast Strip. It sounds more like a gentleman's club. As I approach the pump, I put on my face mask, my disposable blue surgical gloves, and I'm looking around. People are walking around and no one is wearing a face mask. Did they not get the memo? We're in a pandemic. Children are laughing and playing in the street. Oh, just then a man passes me and greets me. Well, good evening, madam. He gestures towards me and tips his hat down with his long, skinny fingers. And then he looks up and gives me an odd nod, as if suddenly realizing I was different. I feel out of place here, and I'm the only one wearing a face mask. Oh, I see someone I know, a friend of mine. Hey, Tim, hey! What is he doing here in this small town? Oh, he's coming my direction. I quickly remove my face mask, stuff it in my pants pocket, take off my blue surgical gloves. What are you doing here? Oh, hey, I just stepped out, pick up some beer. My cousin's throwing a birthday party for his daughter's 16th. Hey, you should come by. There's plenty of food. There's a band. My relatives flew in from all parts of the country. You could meet them. But we're in a pandemic. You should definitely come. look around and there's a calmness running through these streets. There's contentment and fulfillment in every person who passes me by. And I look down the main street and the windows of storefronts are glistening like crystals in the afternoon sunlight. And the signs above each storefront, well, they're sparkling with fresh paint and fancy cursive signage. A young boy passes me on his little yellow bike. He smiles and he gives me an affirmative nod. The grocery bag wrapped around his handlebars is filled with candy. And I look up and the sky is the most amazing, serene blend of blues and purples and oranges and reds. It's mesmerizing. Well, do you want to come to the party or not? Yes. Yes, I do. I do want to go to the party. If I don't find my jacket, he's going to leave without me. Just then, a hard knock on my car window. I look up in a daze. It's a police officer. Ma'am, I have to ask you to move your vehicle. This parking lot is closed until further notice. Pandemic and all. Are you okay, ma'am? Were you sleeping in your car? I was just taking a quick nap, officer. I look around and those people that I once saw as jubilant are now hurriedly trying to get to their next destination, all wearing different versions of face masks. And those shiny storefronts, well, they're dull and pale, and some are even boarded up. I put my key in the ignition and start the car and head back up the highway. 2.5 more hours to go before home. For a moment, in a dream, things were normal. You know, what is normal? And do we even want to get back to that? Is it even up to us? Our world has changed. Our entire world has changed, and it's made us modify everything that we do. I know something. We realized life is precious. We share a common regard for our fellow human with that simple phrase: take care of yourself. It's at the end of every conversation, every email, every voicemail, every text message. It's there. Take care of yourself. Now you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Oh yeah, you get what you need. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Helene. I do want to say that that was a very relatable piece, especially when you think about normalcy, like, you know, the old normal and then the new normal, and there's still people whose normal is just different still, and it's crazy when you feel like you're the odd person out. Um, and I especially like the part where you're thinking of the Rolling Stones concert. You're like, oh, they're on tour. And you're like, wait, they're not on tour anymore because we don't do concerts anymore. Like, so I think that was a very relatable piece. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So up next we have Rochelle Lee Slota with a piece called Kind of a Drag. Kind of a drag, no camp, serious drag with a sense of humor. Show us what that's all about, Rochelle.
Hello, my name's Drama Queen. Draw McQueen. Get it? Drama Queen. Welcome to my psychodrama. Welcome to my drag search for love. No camp. This is serious drag with a sense of humor. How many transgendered persons does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just one, but they have to stay in the dark for 2 years to make sure the light bulb really wants to be changed, and then get the opinions of 2 electricians to make sure the light bulb really needs to be changed. And it's all the dark little secrets about big, beautiful me. There are many kinds of me, many kinds of drama queens. Tonight you'll get to see 2 kinds of me. Here's the first kind of me. You were standing straight, motionless, near the Macy's jewelry department today when you caught my eye, girl. I've seen you there before, sometimes with friends, sometimes a guy, hopefully just a friend. You're always dressed to the nines, wearing designer brands. Today, though, was different. You were wearing a swimsuit. A swimsuit at Macy's. My God, the tongue nearly rolled out of my mouth. Who does that? And such bold colors, bright orange and yellow that accented your perfect breasts and your alabaster skin. I see you on a regular basis when you're not. I see you on a regular basis when I'm not in your when I'm not in your presence. You are still in my presence, in my mind, floating at the core of my emotions. Heartache, yes, it's a real feeling and it hurts. That's because you don't know how strongly I feel. Hell, you don't even know I'm attracted to you. That's because I'm afraid of rejection, afraid of vulnerability, afraid of being raw. It's much easier to smile, hide, and pretend. I'm so scared of losing you because I cherish you so much. I have never experienced such a strong connection like this with myself, much less anyone else. Should I risk sharing my heart with you in hope of creating something crazy beautiful? After much soul searching, I've decided to risk it all. And ask you if you'd like to go out for drinks. Oh, I can already tell you're probably not the kind of girl that goes out much. And I know it's probably extremely hard for you to have a drink, having no head, no arms or legs, and a metal pole that appears to go up your ass. But if on the off chance you'd like to make a go of it, I'm sure you'll remember me. I'm the woman that was thrown out by security for sucking on one of your breasts. I exposed as I held your ass. Your ass. Because we all have a useless stick we want to get rid of. Now, for the second kind of me. Love. Love is fleeting, elusive, fragile, destructive. It's still so delicious. Am I seeking, am I jaded? I'm jaded enough to doubt love's existence, still innocently long for it. Am I seeking external solutions to internal problems? Or working my process where I savor the visceral results of my folly? As a woman in this culture, I long to be a valued object. Once objectified, I clamor to be accepted as a whole person. I am the sum of my parts, part beauty, part truth, part brilliance, part sweetness, part utter confusion. The result is a mess you would invite into your own life and love for the resulting havoc and destruction, or run away, screaming, still plagued by desire, dreams, intrigue. Either way, you both win and lose. I require a leap of faith, but give back much more. I might torment, fuck you, take your money, make you feel jealous, stupid, alone, but the scorching heat will cleanse you. You will be left a hollow shell of the man you once were, with the experience of the ages to keep you warm at night. Normal girls will seem both heaven and boring purgatory. You'll have the smell of burning in your nostrils and lungs full of black tar desire. Can I be tamed? Will I be tamed? I envision a cloistered existence where I am once again hemmed in by polite social constraints and fulfill my biological imperative with the glamour and panache I currently use to beguile. However, if I ever submit to such a suffocating term again, it will be exacted with impeccably high standards, huge amounts of money, and silent freedoms which will prevent me from dying. One way or another, I shall be allowed the space to roam wild. I am a lioness of sorts, descended from a long line of prideful matriarchs. Perhaps my voice is quieter, my methods more subtle, my imperative cloaked in intellectual muck so deep it is nearly halted. Still, I have the strength of eons, of women who have browbeaten and henpecked and demanded their own way from centuries of virile men, emasculated and turned into crying babes by the fierceness of womanly ire. I am capable of this sort of power, but often choose the passive role, allowing men to milk me for my sweetness. For some odd reason, it amuses me to fritter away my innate superiority. I know what I possess can catalyze action and change. and yet I hold it inside. Conserve energy, swallow it like a vitamin, and obfuscate its true nature as something else. Sexual magnetism, a pretty smile, an alluring glow. Dormant within me is a life force, a gravitational pull, and the ability to change the tides and disrupt the lunar cycle. I harbor the power of life and death, cupped in my cold little hands, liquefied in my tears, shuddering in my orgasm, sparkling in my eyes. Where are the brave men? The men who know a good thing when they see it. Men who are humbled and awed by the power I politely tuck into my handbag as I lark about the city drinking gin. Do these men exist anymore? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rochelle, for that. I really appreciate the honest realization that you may be seeking external solutions to internal problems. I think that's very relatable. And both you and Helene talked about the idea of normalcy, and in your piece, it's having the pressures of what society thinks is normal for different sexes, different genders. And I also really, really liked the line or the idea of disrupting the lunar cycle too. So thank you so much for sharing, and also great use of costume changes. Just wanted to throw that out there. So next we have Mikal Victoria with Bardo. Bardo is a work in progress which attempts to tip some of our society's sacred cows with both drama and humor. The epidemic of child abuse and how it's passed through generations, our stigma towards illness, our beliefs around healing, the shadow side of the new ageism, as well as one person's rise from deathbed to healing and still healing as we travel through time and space. Take it away, Mikal.
I'm in Esalen. I'm finally at Esalen. And I'm having an anxiety attack. I'm having an anxiety attack because there's a lot of naked people, all right? And I don't have shame about my body. I'm good with my body. I'm from the East Coast. I need to take my time, all right? And the idea that I have worked so hard to get here, and there's a hot tub. I've never been in a hot tub, but it just like makes me crazy and kind of anxious. So, all right, a lot of naked people. All right, here we go. I just got to do this. You want to help me? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hi. How are you? Yeah, me not so good. It's 4 o'clock. Mika should be home by now. She probably stopped at the German deli. She's probably gonna come home without something for me because I'm the maid. The maid and the mama. She puts me in a mommy box. You know, I would have loved to go and play with my friends after school. I couldn't do that. At 16, my father died. I had to go help my mother. She married me off to ungrateful husband number 1. Then there was children. Ungrateful 2, ungrateful 3. It was never about me. I didn't get to develop myself. I didn't get to have a career. You know what? I'm gonna get my own apartment in the city and they can fucking fend for themselves. Yep. I'm gonna tell Mikal as soon as she walks through that door. Immunity. Thanks. I am very young. Fevers, flus, boils, rashes, trench mouth, school, out 6 months and months a year. I hope Mikal's excessive absences will not affect her academic career. Hypochondriac. It's all in your head. Young adulthood. Maybe a tick bit me. Insult to injury, because in my 38th year, diagnosis, chronic Lyme disease. Chronic Lyme disease. Chronic Lyme disease. I curse you. You have a light, but no one will see it. You have a disease, but no one will believe you. Insects will crawl under your skin, and your blood will turn to venom. Your friends will abandon you. You will feel beaten and humiliated. Your boundaries will be violated. You will feel disgust and shame for all time. You are and always were nothing. Welcome, spiritual community. Growing up in an environment of abuse and degradation, we tell ourselves this story over and over again until it becomes your story. Dualistic victim mentality separates us from the whole, and we develop dis-ease. I invite you to consider that there are no victims. When you were born, no, before you were born, you chose these dysfunctional family to help you evolve. We are always at choice. And excuse me, I have the talking stick. Thank you. And we can choose at any time to tell ourselves a new story. And we have tools, don't we? We have tools. I enjoy the use of essential oils. Ylang, ylang. I dab it through each of my chakra points, all the way down my body, and I gather all the abuse that I have incurred in this lifetime or any others into my head, and I allow it to drain down my body, into my sexual organs, out my feet, and into Mother Gaia. Namaste. Fuck you. No, really. Fuck him. What is this shaming around being a victim? Oh, because we don't want to get stuck there. You know what? I call bullshit. I call bullshit. I say that the number of people who actually get stuck in victimhood is a fraction of the people who are actually victims or were actually victims. And we're taught to deny it out of shame. I mean, does that sound like a good idea? Look at our world. Don't tell me that our world is not being run by traumatized people who were probably told to just let it go and tell themselves a new story. Look, I'm not saying that what he's saying doesn't have truth to it. It totally could. Maybe before I was born, I chose a dysfunctional family to help me evolve. That's totally possible, right? But it is just a piece of the truth, not the whole truth. And that is why it is so damaging. I spent years beating myself up for still being sick and still triggering after all the personal work I've done. And I used Ylang. Okay. Those years that I spent beating myself up, I stopped working my story. I got stuck. So I gave myself permission to tell myself my story over and over again as many times as I needed to. I got clear. Being so afraid of being a victim made me a victim. Darling, lamb chop, oh, look, darling, you got your she got her titties. Oh, Mika, darling, listen, I hear you've been having a hard time, so go ahead, put your legs together, darling. I'm gonna wrap you in toilet paper from head to toe. Yeah, it's symbolic, but don't think about it, you think too much. All right, darling, now we're gonna talk about doctors you can talk to. All right, darling, so yeah, I know you don't have much money, it's a clinic, you go to a clinic, darling, so we're gonna go and we're gonna put a little psychoanalysis, darling, right over in here. Yeah, and then I'm gonna keep going, darling, and you gotta move the energy in your body, darling, so a little acupuncture right over here, okay? No, darling, don't feel like you failed, darling. No. Listen, we don't know what's going on. You gotta work on the spiritual, the emotional, the physical. And listen, it's like toilet paper. You gotta wet it, throw it up against the wall and see what sticks, Mikal. All right, listen, I got you. All right, here we go. Darling, we got to do some body work because you hold the trauma in your muscles. So a doctor's going to put a condom on his finger, darling, and he's going to stick it in your mouth, and he's going to press into your jaw, darling, because you could have sucked a dick, you don't know. All right, let's keep going. And, oh, you got a diagnosis this all right. Lots of long-term antibiotics, darling. Lots of long-term antiparasitics. I know, use all your money, darling. What else, you know? You could die. We got to do it. All right, here we go. You're looking not too good. A little worse for wear. All right, don't worry about it. We're going to pull out the big guns, darling. Here we go. We're going to do bee venom therapy, darling. Yeah, you're going to sting yourself with bees all the way down your spine, darling. You can afford this. All right, now I'm going to open your mouth. There you go. And I'm going to give you a little mushroom, darling. Oh, darling, I can see the light entering your head, darling. All right, I'm so excited. All right, now, for the last coup de grace, I'm going to send you to Esalen, darling, and we're going to let all this congeal, and then we're going to see what happens. Oh, my God, I'm so excited, darling. Oh, I love you. Darling, it's going to be all right, Nicole. You're going to be all right. I love you, darling. I love you. Good luck, darling. I'm entering the hot springs. I give myself to the water. The ocean speaks to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It was definitely a very empowering piece, and there was a lot of pain embedded in there, but I really appreciated the sense of peace and tranquility that you ended with. I felt like I was building up a lot of emotion, throughout that performance, and then we were just able to exhale at the end with you. Like it was a very, very cool experience, and so I appreciate that. And I also think that you have such a great energy, and I appreciate the way that you use the space and your facial expressions and vocal changes. So that was awesome as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I wanted to open it up to Q&A, but I'm not sure if our Zoom techs have disabled the chat due to our earlier hack. I think it's might be just safer if I just ask a couple of questions. So for each of the performers, I'm definitely curious to know what was the inspiration behind your piece. Maybe we could start with Helene. Is she still there?
Yes. Yeah. I think the inspiration was just road trips and everything that happens on road trips, and in particular this one, just because where we are in our world. And I sort of like went into a fantasy of what if this was all a dream?
Yeah.
But I think that was really the driving force for writing my piece.
Mm. Yeah, the coast is gorgeous too. I was just picturing it in my head.
It's truly gorgeous.
Thank you. Rochelle, what about for you?
Well, as I've, I have known for a long time that there are many people inside me, but then I went through a gender transition, and I think the population inside me doubled.
Wow.
And as a playwright, I write these little pieces that I was able to put a couple of them together to make 10 minutes, and then the whole piece that I did a part of is 21 minutes long.
Wow. I like that idea a lot. What about for you, Miko?
For me, I was like a tea kettle that was building up a lot of pressure over decades because I was really, really sick and I thought I was dying. And the narrative that had been out about what had happened to me when I grew up, my narrative was not out. There were other narratives. And on top of it, I got a disease that the mainstream medical community doesn't recognize. So there was this theme of silence, always having to keep silent. I didn't want to hurt my abusers. They were family. I didn't want to hurt my community that I grew up with. So I didn't really put my story out there. And the same with the disease. There's hundreds of thousands of people suffering from this disease and dying. I see them on my timeline dying, and I felt like, okay, I have to put this out, because if I don't survive, I'm not okay with not speaking, not telling what happened to me, so that other people feel like they're not alone.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, we could definitely see that in the piece, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know for me too, I definitely didn't feel alone. So that was really nice to have that.
Good.
Another question for each performer: how can we connect with you? For example, do you have any workshops or upcoming performances you're in that are open to the public? Are you working on any other projects? Helene?
So I'm fairly new to this world, and I hope to continue to do more and more performances. So at this time, I don't really have any website or anything, but hopefully I'll get to do more performances with the Marsh.
Absolutely. Rochelle?
Well, I'm working on 2 plays as a playwright, and I'm in the current issue of Caveat Lector magazine. I have 3 photographs and 2 audio poems.
Ooh.
Caveat Lector magazine is in San Francisco. It's been here for 30 years. Nobody knows about it, but Caveat Lector translates as "let the reader beware."
Oh. Is there a website for it?
Yes. Yeah, it's an online arts magazine.
Oh, that's so cool. Can people submit to it too, or how do folks get involved with that?
Oh yeah.
Nice. What about for you, Miko?
I'm laughing because I'm like, if you want to connect with me, probably the best way is Facebook. You know, I would love to perform at the Marsh. I wrote this a year and a half ago. I have terrible stage fright, so I don't really, I'm pushing through it. I will see. I mean, the whole world is changing, and but I would like to continue using acting, singing, writing, dancing to be able to, help people who are suffering and just address some of the shadow in our society, because I really do think that a lot of people don't know how to work that. And so it gets projected out into the world, and here we are,
Yeah.
And I've been doing that work for like 40 years. So it's something I know. So you can Nicole Victoria on Facebook. You can get me there, and I hope to do future projects, more of this.
Yeah, thank you all again so much for performing and for sharing these stories. I think that about wraps it up for today. I want to remind everyone again that we are accepting submissions for these, so please do not forget to submit. And I want to say a big thank you again to our Zoom techs, Brianna and David. A big thank you to Stephanie Weissman for building this amazing community in the theater world. And I want to say thank you to all the audience members that joined us today. Hope you can join us next week. Next week is a special edition that will be featuring pieces from the formerly incarcerated People's Project. The performers are mothers who have sons that have been affected by the justice system. So that's going to be really interesting. So I hope you guys can join us for that. The following week, we also have a special edition that'll feature some musical pieces. So I hope you guys can join us for that. Yeah, other than that, please stay safe. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.